What's up, nerds? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Maddie if you're new here. I hope your day is going well. And today we're gonna reminisce on the fact that I've been doing YouTube for the last 5 years. I have been on YouTube since April 1st, 2016, and even though a lot of the videos from my first year are now privated, I have had the time of my life making content for you guys, and I didn't really know what to do for this occasion. I asked on Twitter and Instagram for like questions for like a Q&A, and I think a total of 3 people responded, so we're not doing that. I did also ask what you guys wanted to see for like a 5-year marker, and a couple people wanted to see like me reacting to my first video. I did that at one point, I think for my 3 years, I'm not quite sure. So I'm not doing that again, but I am going to go ahead and react to my Artemis rant review. Let's see if my opinions hold up. It is one of my most controversial videos, and I think that it'd be fun to kind of just go back down memory lane with you guys. Let's do it.
What?
That lighting though.
What? No? You know, I did space buns for this video, and one of them's like, oh yeah, I'm cute, and the other one's, I just work here. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie if you're new here. I hope your day is going well.
The lipstick choices
and
were
today we're gonna do a controversial video. And if you are not able to handle differing opinions from yours, you might not want to watch this video, because I'm gonna go ahead and rant about the shit show that was Artemis by Andy Weir. I borrowed this book from work, and I promptly read it in under like 4 hours total of reading, and I got some thoughts. So we're just gonna go ahead and dive right in, because I have 7 pages of things to talk about. I'd like to preface this video that I did not read The Martian by Andy Weir.
Still haven't, won't be reading it.
I wasn't interested in the synopsis, and I'm also not someone that's super science oriented, and the big pull with that book was that it's very much science, and I just never got around to reading it, and I don't really...
I think that I should have prefaced this entire video with the fact that it's like, I know it's like science, I'm just not a huge science fiction buff. But at the same time, I've read a lot of science fiction books that I really enjoyed, and this one just fucking sucked.
Plan on it now, because in all honesty, I don't think that I ever want to read anything by Andy Weir again, because his writing is so abysmal that I'd rather chew on rusty nails while listening to Louis C.K. do creepy dad jokes. Yeah, I went there. Let's start from the beginning. I was so fucking stoked for this book. So stoked. It's supposed to be a heist novel on the moon. And if you know anything about me and my channel, you know that Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo is one of my all-time favorite books. That is a fantasy heist novel with a really diverse cast of characters. That's kind of what Artemis sounded like. It's got a semi-diverse cast of characters. It's set on the moon. There's a heist. I was fucking thrilled, but I was wrong. I was very wrong. I was not anticipating what was about to happen. So this book is about Jazz. She's a porter in the city of Artemis that's, wait for it, on the moon. Shocking, I know, right? But Jazz isn't just a porter. She's also a smuggler, which isn't really clear what she's smuggling, because she just spends a lot of time describing how the city works and how oxygen is really important on the moon, which kind of makes sense because the moon doesn't have oxygen. We get a lot about the science behind how the bubbles around Artemis works, but not really any reason why Jazz is picking up illegal shit to go drop it off with people. Like,
this is something that really bothers me, because the character motivations in any story are one of the most important things for a writer to focus on. Whereas I understand why people liked the world building in this, but if you're gonna be making a story where there's a character that's doing something that could potentially get them in major trouble, they gotta have some serious motivations or character dynamics that make sense as to why they're doing that.
No real reason for that.
And
this is kind of weird, because she could definitely get deported back to Earth, where she hasn't been since she was 6, back to Saudi Arabia, where she apparently grew up for the first 6 years. More on that later. The first sign that I wasn't gonna like this book came at page 30. I'm not going to tell you who she's describing, but Jazz describes someone as Hitler's wet dream. Our main character, who is a Saudi Arabian woman, just describes someone as a Hitler wet dream. If your reaction was the same as mine when you heard that, i.e., then you should probably just click off this video now, and
which is my reaction to watching this poorly lit video, but you know, it's fine.
That you're like, oh, it could potentially get better. Maybe that was a slip up. Maybe that was just a little weird. No, let's just continue on because this is gonna be a long video. Okay, so Jazz is a well-known member of this community. She knows everyone and everyone knows her. She even hangs out with this billionaire guy called Trond, and Trond has her deliver cigars to his home like an asshole because you can't really have things that like are flammable on the moon because oxygen is a thing and you don't really want to use up all the oxygen. But Trond's a billionaire asshole, and so apparently he can do that and it's totally fine and she has no problems with that. So Trond tells Jazz that he has a job for her, and there's a lot of sciencey stuff that goes into this, and then we get our heist. But it's not a heist. Nothing's being stolen. He wants her to vandalize something. Not steal something, break something. I'm not joking. So here's the thing. Six of Crows kind of does the same thing where it takes a heist and then halfway through the book it kind of turns it into something else. But with this, there's no heist. In Artemis, it's supposed to be a heist or the perfect crime as the synopsis says, and it's just criminal vandalism. Interestingly enough, that's not what I expected from this book. Even Jazz thinks she can't do it, but when Trond says that he'll give her $1 million moon dollars, she says, which could have been cool if it was more interesting, I guess. It's like, yes, I was given the idea that this was going to be a heist book, but it didn't necessarily have to be a heist. It could have been about a crime, but it was a really boring crime. It was like she just broke something, and I was like, okay. Woo. Wasn't even that big of the book. I don't really remember the book all that well, but like I remember that part being really boring. Yeah, sure, fuck it. You only die once, right? So after that, things get real fucked because obviously. I won't be going into more plot details anymore except for some certain situations that I think are going to be important to my review, but I will be going into my extremely negative thoughts about the characters, the world building, and the representation that this book includes, and let's just go ahead and get into it because I got a lot to say. I usually start with what's good about a book, and I usually kind of let you guys know what I liked, but in all honesty, the only thing I liked about this book was that it took me like 4 hours to read. It was a very quick read. The sciencey stuff might be more interesting to you if you like science, but for me, every time it started getting into pages of sciencey stuff, I just kind of couldn't help but have my eyes roll back in my head and almost fall asleep. So I skimmed a lot of that, but that's because I'm not interested in sciencey stuff. So speaking of the sciencey stuff, let's go ahead and dive into the world building real fast. The most irritating part about the world building was, as I said, there was just pages of descriptive sciencey things to support how this... Everybody who has a problem with me saying sciencey stuff has a point because that's super fucking annoying. I just was not using the term world building the way I should have. Andy Weir bore the fuck out of me, at least, with his sciencey world. I knew it, why didn't I say it? He picks and chooses what he's going to use that technique for, which irritates me because if you're going to make a very complicated world, back up everything with complicated science. Don't just pick or choose what gets explained and what doesn't. Really not cool. Super. Really not cool. Version is that it's funny science, and for me, I like funny science. To read from a character who's supposedly sex empowered, but then she always looks down on people that have sex. Like the prostitutes on Artemis, she looks down on them with like vengeance, despite the fact that she's kind of known as the town harlot. The closest we get to her even thinking about sex in any— Hey, Sarah J. Maas called, she wants her plotline back. Friend again for some reason, but then goes into saying that Tyler, her boyfriend at that time, would have left her either way after he stopped being confused about his sexuality. And I thought that was a little bit odd, mostly because I thought that there could have been an inclusion of a bisexual character at that point, but then we just didn't do that. We just went with her being mad at the person that stole her boyfriend instead of the person that cheated on her, obviously. And also, we never meet Tyler. He's talked about because bi people don't exist. You can't like both or more genders or all genders. Fucking fuck off. Really weird things that go into that. It's also kind of slammed over your head that Dale, this character, is gay. He gets called Arse Bandit and has no problem with it. He even says, listen, assholes, I'm too gay for a cat fight. I didn't feel comfortable with that, but at the same time, if there's any LGBTQ people out there that want to review this book for me, please go ahead and let me know. But for me, I was not impressed with that character. whatsoever. There's a few other things that I would like to talk about with this book, one of them being extreme girl hate, and the other one is only seeing your main character through masculine eyes. There were several—
Oh yeah, I was in the closet when I made this.
outfit or new hairdo where she was shamed for those things internally by herself and by her male counterparts in the book. There was even a moment where she said, "Oh, I broke down and cried in his arms. Let's pretend that didn't happen." And it's so frustrating to me because that happened after she almost died. So basically, despite the fact that she almost died and she had a traumatic experience, we're still pretending she's a tough girl and she shouldn't have any feminine reactions to things at all.
I really like that my new rant reviews or my most recent rant reviews are just me just riffing. Like, I'm just making jokes the entire time. And in this video, I'm hella fucking serious because it's like, it's so serious. I'm talking smack about a book and now I just tell you, I hate it. Here's why. Also, I'm gonna make jokes. If you got sensitive feelings, you're gonna need to leave like right now because I'm gonna make jokes. This is, obviously it's a more serious situation because this book was really offensive in a lot of ways. I just think it's funny that the tonal difference between me now and me then, dramatic change.
Pretty random rambly rant thing about this book. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you didn't, I'm sorry, not really, but you know, you can enjoy this, but I really didn't at all, and I thought it would be nice to just do a little bit of a ranty rant here on my channel because I know a lot of you love those types of videos. So I'm gonna go now, guys. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye!
Okay, so what did we learn from rewatching that? A, Maddie doesn't know how to light videos, like, at all. I'm not even really good at it right now, but I have some natural daylight and I know not to put a whole bunch of dark makeup on my face anymore because it makes me look like I'm dying. I'm just gonna roast the shit out of my original video. So yeah, so I stand by everything I said. I just definitely think that I have grown as a reviewer because my reviews are not supposed to be as serious anymore, and I just kind of, you know, it's books. It's like art is supposed to be critiqued, people aren't, and I've really stood by that over the years, and I really appreciate you guys coming along on this ride with me. I really hope that we can grow this community a little bit more. If you're really, and if you like my videos, please hit that subscribe button, and I will hit you guys in the next one. Bye! That wasn't my outro. Whatever.